restart the recording. So instead of pressing F9 because of Chem Studio, I'm just going to right click somewhere here, right click and say breakpoint insert. Okay, so it gets inserted. So this time I'm going to say debug, start debugging. Okay, so I begin to execute, and so I execute and I stop on this line. All right, so by the way, here's our console window. Close the recording. Here's our console window. At some point there will be message goodbye printed here, because we know at some point the destructor is going to kick in and do its thing, which is print goodbye. Okay, so I begin to step through. So I'm just going to use those shortcuts, like right here. Typically I would say F10, but it's also wired to Chem Studio. So I'm just going to step over. So I'm about to return. What do you think is going to happen here? After executing this statement, do you think we're going to see this message, goodbye, or not? Yes, no. The correct answer is no. Many people think that this is the last statement that takes place in this function, but it's not true. What happens is that if I step over, this is what's going to execute. And by the way, if you look like a disassembly, there's actually quite a bit of stuff compiled, physically combined, associated with the closing brace. What I mean is this, is that remember when I said foo is going to finish execution and this will be given back to the system, this piece of stack memory. Well, guess what? This, let me sort of like try to highlight this, is that this work of returning this memory is done by this closing brace. And guess what? During the execution of this closing brace, which makes sure that everything, in our case it's a main function here, but I was using foo function as being, is finished and returning. It's this closing brace which will call all destructors, which will be pending with regard to any objects created by this little scope. In my case it's main, right? So as you can see, by the way, take a look, we're here, we're still in this function, we jump to the closing brace, and look here, already part of this jump, we actually printed the goodbye at this point. So it has to execute, and it's really when the things are done, it's here, and this part here invokes destructors only when we execute it. So just something to know.